Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Do you feel that Mercury is stationed stationed direct? Apparently I don't. We are in the clear. Thoughts and communication are starting to become more clear, less confusing. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Good morning, Kathy. Let us know where you guys are joining from, too. Hi, Sarah. Hello, Ash. Hi, Rick. Good morning, Monica. Woke up early to join you all. Beautiful. Glad to have you. Rev, welcome back. Grand Rising. Thank you, universe. Love it, love it. Dr. Monica is joining from Southern California. Rev is joining from rainy Southern Florida. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Allison. If this is your first time with me, my name is Jacqui Mancuso. I am a Reiki master teacher, and I am joining you from Northern Illinois, where I have been able to have my windows open for about the last 48 hours straight, which is always good for me. I have 3 dogs, so my house doesn't smell like roses all the time. So it's really nice to have the windows open in the summer. Not saying we're dirty people at all, but dogs. Rev, Mercury out. Drop the mic. Yeah, actually, this is the time to pick the mic up, right? This is the time that our thoughts and communication are coming back on track. Joe, hello from Joe in London. Welcome. Thanks for joining us from across the pond. Monica says, Rev, I'm headed to Orlando on Thursday to a chiropractic conference to share essential oils. That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. The first place that I ever heard of essential oils, which you can see I am a fan of now, was the first chiropractor I ever went to. I had some sinus issues one day, and she used tea tree oil to massage my sinuses, and it was magical. So that's awesome. AJ says, happy Friday. Hello, Anik. Nice to see you. Good morning to Jackie and all. Oh, there's a cyclone coming in today. Beautiful. Not beautiful. I mean, nature, weather, right? Everything's beautiful. Today, Mercury is stationing direct. So, if for the last 3 weeks you have felt a little like you can't get your words out, or if you've missed some appointments, if you have put the wrong date or time in your calendar, if your thoughts have felt a little bit scattered, we can attribute that to Mercury being in retrograde. Today, Mercury is stationing direct, so while it's not going to be just like a light switch that happens and everything is clear again, you will start to feel the effects of having more mental clarity today. Give it about a week for the shadow period to pass. So that's Mercury retrograde. Tomorrow, Saturn is going to station retrograde. Let me see what Yvonne said. Yvonne, hi Jackie, first visit your sessions, looking forward to it. Hi from Northern Ireland. Thanks for coming, Yvonne, nice to have you. Rev, 2 days of rain, hopefully stays out of hurricane status. Crossing my fingers for you guys. Anik is happy. Mercury retrograde is over. Yvonne just thought it was menopause, but okay, I'll take Mercury. That's awesome. Hello, Cara from Colorado. Welcome, welcome. So Saturn is going to station retrograde tomorrow, and he will be in retrograde until October 23rd. Hello, Laura. If you are around my age, I'm 31, you just have or you are almost going into your Saturn return. So that Saturn takes about 29 to 30 years to travel all the way around his orbit. And when he comes back to the place where he was when you were born, some life-changing things might happen, right? we can go into this a lot more. However, if Saturn is stationed between 18 and 28 degrees of Aquarius within your chart, you are going to experience another Saturn return sometime from now to October. That is where he will be transiting as he moves retrograde. So he's at 28 degrees right now. Until October, he'll travel all the way back to 18, and then in October, he'll start again. So if your natal Saturn is somewhere between those, Godspeed. This will be a great time for you. Saturn retrograde doesn't have to be a scary time. That's kind of my take on all of astrology. You can look at anything in the shadow side or the higher expression. And I choose to look at everything in the higher expression because we create our own reality, right? So Saturn is the planet of boundaries, rules, regulations, setting limitations. And while those words can sound really scary and really like boxed in, it's a time for you to kind of get honest with yourself, set yourself some limits, right? And do I want to work for 14 hours today? Heck no, I only want to work for 6. So I'm going to limit myself to 6 hours a day to be as productive as I can within that time. Boundaries, right? Let's say you got a promotion and you want to go celebrate with your friends. I'm going to set a boundary where I'm only going to have 2 or 3 drinks tonight, right? So Saturn retrograde is a time for reviewing those parts of our life and reviewing the boundaries that we've set, the limits we've set, and just recalibrating and reevaluating. So taking a look at where you feel like you might be letting yourself go, or you feel like you're going too far, and just being honest with yourself, right? Trying to look at these situations without any judgment and just noticing that, hey, maybe I am putting a little bit more effort into my job than I really need to. Maybe if I cut myself off an hour a day at work, I could spend that hour sitting in nature and reconnecting with Mother Earth. So as both planets are shifting direction, so as Mercury is starting to shift forward and as Saturn is trying to shift back, it takes them a second to change their orbit. So things in your energy, in the world's energy, might feel a little sluggish as they start to move in opposite directions. So that is, that's the astrological topic of the day. Reverend, how often does Saturn return? So with the orbit, depending on how often he goes retrograde within those 29 years, it's about 29 years. You can, if you're interested, you can do a basic internet search for a Saturn return calculator, and all you do is put in your date of birth, and then it will give you all the dates that Saturn will return to your natal position. Oh, hello, T. Good morning, arriving late. As I say, you are never late. You are led here when you're meant to be here. We just finished our Mercury retrograde Mercury direct Saturn retrograde talk. Laura, great to hear. I'm feeling a lot, challenges, etc. Laura, are you my age? Are you going through that Saturn return time? So today I was called to pull from our chakra wisdom cards. I feel like I haven't pulled from these live for a very long time. I have been putting them in our spiritual community from time to time, but as we move into this lengthy Saturn retrograde period, I'd like to ask our guides which chakras need the most attention from us at this time. Angie, good morning. I'm definitely in my Saturn return. I'll give one brief statement about Saturn return, and then we will move on to the reading. So Saturn is like father energy. He's called Father Time, and some people will call him Father Time. But he wants the best for you. It's like tough love. He wants you to achieve your highest potential, but he doesn't sugarcoat his lessons. So depending on which house Saturn lives in within your chart, that will tell you what area of life he's trying to teach you lessons. But he will drop some hints. He'll give you some tough situations to test you, to see how you'll do. If you pass the test, if you choose the high road on all of these tests, then when he comes around for his return, it's kind of like a congratulations, here's your reward. But if throughout your life you've been completely ignoring his tests and you've been resisting the lessons he's trying to teach you, then when he comes around for Saturn return, he's gonna put up his middle finger and say, hey, I've tried the easy way, now here's the hard way. And that's when life might seem to crumble a little bit. It's all for your highest good, though. He's not trying to uproot your life just to drive you nuts, you know? Laura, no, I don't think so. How old are you? I'm 31. So I had my Saturn return about 2 years ago. And if I'm remembering correctly, I feel like I had the same situation where he passed over and then he went retrograde and passed again, and then he moved direct and he passed again. So I had like 3 Saturn returns. All right, so let's move into the reading. So the way that I run my oracle readings, if you haven't been here before, is I ask you to send your energy into my deck first and foremost. So tune into your guides and just ask them to send you whichever messages will lead you down your highest path today. I allow our guides to choose cards from the deck for me. So I wait for them to appear, and then I will show you the backs of the 3 cards that are selected. So all of the cards will look the same, but I empower you to tune into your own intuition, to feel into which card sends you any type of message. So when I hold up the cards, you might notice some people say they see lights around the card. Some people will hear something when I hold up a card. Sometimes you might feel a physical sensation in your body. You might get an itchy nose. You might have a tingle in your toes. But just tune into your physical senses when I hold up the cards, and then let us know in the chat which card or cards have resonated with you, and then I'll read them all. Okay, so here is the back of card number 1. Here's the back of card number 2. And here's the back of card number 3. So let us know which cards you are feeling today. And I did set the intention to receive messages for us to think about all the way through this Saturn retrograde. So all the way through to October, which chakra needs the most work. Here is, I'll show them one more time. Here's the back of card number 1. The back of card number 2. And the back of card number 3. So Bonnie's feeling 3, Angie's feeling 3, Laura and Rev are feeling 2 and 3, Kara's feeling 3, Kathy 1 and 3, Joe 1 and 3, Anik 3, Kayla 1 and 3, Jenny 3, Allison 1 and 2, Alicia's feeling 3, Cynthia 2 and 3. Miriam, good morning. I have some good news for you about yoga at the end of our session. Miriam's feeling number 3. Myra, good morning. You're feeling 3. Melanie's feeling 1 and 2. Yvonne. Oh man, Yvonne's feeling 2. Chiara's feeling 3. Kiara. I love saying people's names right, so feel free to correct me if I say your name incorrectly. AJ's feeling 2 and 3. Monica's feeling 2 and 3. All right, we're all over the board. I feel a lot of energy on the 3s today. All right, if card number 1 resonated with you, your guides are calling your attention to your heart chakra. So in the center of your chest, right near your physical heart. And their message for you today is generosity. Generosity is sharing. I give myself freely, and I am open to opportunities to do so. I do this because I can, and I expect nothing in return. Speaking from the heart will let those around me know how I feel about them. My generosity will touch another person's heart and replenish their spirit. Through love, I have a positive, spontaneous, and lasting influence on the healing and transformation of both myself and others. Wow. So when I held up card 1, and I've never actually said, when I describe how to use your intuition, I've never said, like, you might get an itch in your nose. But when I held up card 1, I definitely had an itch on my nose. And I also have been keeping, so I have a tarot journal. I pull cards every morning and I write about them. But there's also a monthly habit tracker. So each month I choose different habits that I want to track. And I just so happened the other day to write as an example, like, I want to track how often I help other people. So I think that's interesting that this came up. The universe works 100% on vibration. Whatever radio frequency you tune your vibration to and you put out is directly how the universe is going to respond and give back to you. So if you tune into this sense of generosity, sharing through love, sharing without expectation, with no resentment, with no, expectation is the word that keeps coming up, but just freely giving and trusting that by opening your heart to the world, that the world will then fill your heart. So by putting out all of this generosity, all of this assistance, not only does it make you feel good, right? How great does it feel to know that you were able to help someone, to know that out of just being yourself, this other person's life is enhanced. So by Mercury retrograde is still in there. By putting it out to the universe, you're tuning into that vibration. You're tuning into free love. So the only option for the universe is to bring that back to you. Allison, so did I. Never had itches today. And today, too. Interesting. That's funny. I wonder if I'll just put that in our brains. Monica, I felt compelled to share how I helped someone yesterday, and I think it was because I needed to feel like I did at least that situation right. I get what you're saying. Yeah, sometimes it's easy to hang on to your mistakes, and try to take control of where you can make things right. But if you're giving out of guilt, if you are sharing out of guilt, the universe will bring back to you more reasons to feel guilty. If the energy of guilt is within what you are doing, that's how the radio frequency works. That's going to come back. Wasn't guilty at all? Okay. Just as a rule of thumb for others. Super excited. That's good. That's definitely the energy to keep putting out to the universe. Let's see. Card number 2. A handful of you guys resonated with card number 2, at least the ones who spoke up today. If card number 2 resonated with you, your guides are calling you throughout the Saturn retrograde to focus on your crown chakra. So this is where you connect to the divine. Their message is regarding spiritual awareness. When my mind sways negatively, I remind myself of love, truth, gratitude, and spirit. I am the observer of my thoughts, and I do not let them bring me down. I remind myself to have gratitude and acceptance for what is, and to have the courage of my convictions. I continuously pursue a clever understanding of spiritual truths behind all that is and all that is unfolding. I ask myself, is what I'm thinking the truth? And is it having a positive or negative impact on my life? If card number 2 is resonating with you, I feel like you have been in a period of overthinking, overthinking your actions, overthinking your situation, and not fully trusting that you are supported and guided and led by spirit, by the universe, by your guides, by your higher self, by God, whatever you want to call it. I think the thing that held me back from connecting to my spiritual self for such a long time is that I thought it had to be one thing. My eyes were truly opened when I finally realized that God doesn't mean a man sitting in the clouds. It was explained to me that you can believe in the universe, you can believe in trees, whatever you want your higher power to be is what you personally connect to. So throughout this Saturn retrograde, I encourage you to set boundaries on how long and how often you allow yourself to overthink, how long and how often you allow yourself to question your own actions, if that makes sense. And I feel like by the end of this Saturn retrograde period in October, if you have been diligent about setting your own boundaries and setting your own limits as far as your spirituality, I feel like your intuition is going to be off the charts. You're going to be able to sit down, close your eyes, and say, did I serve my highest good today by making the situation? You'll get a yes or no, and you'll move on, right? No more overthinking. Man, I should have done this. If this wouldn't have happened, then I wouldn't have done this. Less circling around. And man, coming out of Mercury retrograde, this is like the perfect time to receive this card. Let's see what you guys... Beautiful. Monica, I like to use clary sage to help my crown chakra. Thanks for the recommendation. I love clary sage. Cynthia, good to know about leaving behind guilt. I have done that in an attempt to make things right. That is controlling and manipulative. Identifying a pattern is the first step to changing it. Hold no judgment, simply observe. I believe that that's one of the keys to life. It's okay to admit, like, hey, I fucked up. We all do. Laura, oh yes, totally resonated with that. Thank you, Jack. You're so welcome. Allison, wowza, this one is like a bullseye today. Yvonne absolutely relates to what I've said. Kyla, was that described to you by a person or a book? That was described to me by my father. So yeah, that was a very special conversation that it was one of the catalysts of my whole where I'm at in my life right now. Allison, I feel so seen. Laura, too many regrets. What are regrets serving? Your ego tells you that regretting your actions will help you to grow and move on and not do those things again, not say those words again, not take those actions again. But holding on to that regret is literally just like holding a knife at your heart and saying, like, I did a bad thing. I shouldn't have done that, you know? By looking at things without judgment, just simply observing, man, I made a bad decision. I see that decision hurt this person in this way, hurt me in that way. I'm going to choose not to do that anymore. Let it go. It happened. It happened. Just own it. It happened. I made bad decisions. What I'm choosing is to not make bad decisions in the future. And if I do, because I'm a human, because sometimes we just do the best we can with what we have, if I do make a decision like that in the future, I will do my best to notice it in the moment as soon as I can and reverse it as soon as I can. Monica, love releasing the mental gymnastics in favor of divine and universal support. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's so much easier. It's hard to get to that point, but it's so much easier. Namesto, hello, I'm new. Well, so the way I run my readings is I pull 3 cards for the community, and if you are just coming in now, I believe that your guides would like you to receive this next message that I'm about to read. Divine timing. This card too, it's perfect. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Laura, thank you, Jackie. So wise and helpful. Thanks. You're so welcome, Laura. Okay, card number 3. If card number 3 resonated with you, or if you just walked into the session, your guides for this whole period of Saturn retrograde. Hello, Catherine. Thanks for joining us. It's your first time as well. So, up through, what was 2? 2 was the crown chakra. Spiritual awareness, remembering that you are connected to spirit. I'll post an update in our spiritual community. Rev, I lost signal. Your guides didn't want you to hear that message then. If you guys ever... Opal! Hello, first time too. Awesome. If you guys ever need time to digest a reading and you need to look at it later, go ahead, click on my face. On my teacher profile, you'll see a link to my group. It's called Our Spiritual Community. I post updates of my readings, and I also will throw some cards out there on the days that I'm not live on Insight Timer. Okay, 3rd card. Your guides are calling you to focus on your solar plexus chakra. So this is on the top of your belly. It's about 2 inches above your belly button. This is your energy center. This is like your little inner fire. It's where your motivation to do comes from. And their message today is regarding inner harmony. I trust my innate wisdom and respond accordingly. I do not allow my mind to create doubt or to override my strong gut feelings. I accept and express my feelings while accepting the feelings of others. I am at peace with myself and those around me, and I do not harbor unrealistic expectations of myself or of others. I release the need to control others. My personal power is free from ego and from any desire to manipulate or exploit situations or people. The foundation of all my thoughts and actions is trust in myself. Man, if that doesn't play off of our last card. What was it? I accept and express my feelings while accepting the feelings of others. That's what reminded me of what we were just talking about with that regret situation. So when you hold on to regret, it is because your feelings caused said action. Said action caused feelings in others. And those feelings can make us feel guilty, right? My actions caused you to feel that way. When, sure, I can see how that line is drawn. However, other people's emotions are other people's emotions. There are so many times that no matter how you act, the other person is going to take it in such a way, and it's nothing about your character. It's nothing about how you acted. It's all about how they are filtering their own information through. Something else came up too. Something about wisdom. Where was that? Oh my gosh. Oh, I trust my innate wisdom and respond accordingly. Okay. We all have this inner wisdom, right? And I believe it was Laura who just mentioned, oh, Jackie, you're so wise. The only traits that you can see in other people are traits that you hold inside of yourself. If they didn't exist inside of yourself, your brain wouldn't even be able to recognize them in somebody else. Let that sink in for a second. Taking that into this other people's emotions situation, if they are in a negative place within themselves, no matter what you are doing, they are seeing a negative projection of themselves in your actions. So what I believe this card is trying to call to you to say is that if you always do your best to act with integrity, to always try to do the best you can with what you have, even if other people are upset with your actions. As long as you know that there was no ill intent behind what you did, it's their problem. It's their problem. It's their responsibility to deal with their emotions. Let's see what you guys are saying. Not my first time, but just came in. Hi, Mishi. Welcome, welcome. Opal, beautiful, and definitely the card for me. Thank you. You're so welcome. Thanks for joining us. Cynthia, beautiful card. I receive that truth. Beautiful. Bonnie, for the first time in months, I'm losing the connection to the moment. Overthinking and concerned about something coming up. It's an old pattern. 2 and 3 are really speaking to me. Bonnie, it's interesting you say that because I've been feeling myself in the same sense. I'm feeling a little disconnected recently to, like my spiritual part. I know that it's what my body needs, but there are a lot of things dwelling on my mind recently too. So yes, maybe we do need to remember that we are connected to the divine and our thoughts will never overpower energy, right? So true. Elisa, all the hundreds. Laura, wow, my angels guided me well. This is just for me. Amazing. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yvonne, oh yes, I've read a quote regarding this. Your perception of me is a reflection of you. My response to you is an awareness of me. I love that, Yvonne. That puts it so perfectly. Angie, also so disconnected. Interesting. I'm trying to tune into like the energy, like what would be causing that. Harmony, good morning, many blessings. I'm just about to pull one last culminating card for everybody. Monica, this reading was perfect. Beautiful. Angie, everything is a mirror. Yes, it is. And once you realize that, every interaction you have with somebody else is a lesson. Even if you don't judge other people, you still get like feedback from what they're doing. You still have opinions about what they're doing. And yeah, I like to watch other people and just notice what I notice in them. And when I notice things that I don't like so much, I start searching for where I'm holding that kind of stuff within myself. When I see things that I really do like in people, I like hold on to that, right? And I give myself a little pat on the back. As far as this disconnected energy, Pluto is retrograde. He went retrograde at the end of April. Pluto is the destroyer, like the planet of picking stuff up and ripping it apart, leaving the soot behind and taking the beauty with us. So perhaps many of us are feeling disconnected because our connection wasn't the highest connection that we could have had. Maybe we're feeling disconnected because there is I want to say better, but it's not better. There's like a more succinct way for us to connect that we haven't found. That's 100% what I'm getting for sure. Anik, I've been feeling the spiritual disconnect also. Doubting my ability to feel in Reiki and intuitive messages have decreased. I fell asleep in your last session here. What the heck? Angie, maybe an upgrade? 1,000%. Yes, 1,000% a spiritual upgrade. We got to clear out what no longer serves us in order to receive the upgrade. We can't hoard ourselves full of energy. Anik, your guides will put you to sleep when they know that your ego is in the way. So if you ever do fall asleep during a meditation, during Reiki, during any spiritual thing that you're doing, your guides did it on purpose. They know that you will better receive whatever is coming through if your ego is turned off, if your thoughts are turned off. Same with Reiki, really having to focus. Chantal, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. They always have our highest and greatest good in mind. I challenge you to try not to focus. Just stop focusing. Just allow. Because if you're trying to if you're chasing what you used to experience, you're turning off that side of you that could be accepting something brand new. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. My thoughts have been really scattered in my meditations. I've been having a difficult time, like, fully releasing as I used to, but there's a reason. All right, we're going to pull one culminating card from one of my favorite decks, Ask Your Guides. And this card will contain a message for every single beautiful soul who is present with us. And most of the time, it will tie together the 3 cards that came through in the beginning. So if you are enjoying today's session, donations are always super graciously appreciated. If you haven't yet followed me on Insight Timer, please consider giving me a follow. I just posted lots of classes for the upcoming weeks that I will discuss at the end of our session, but my schedule has been all over the place, so give me a follow so you can stay updated when I come on live. And if you would like to work one-on-one with me, for readings, I just put my Akashic Record reading offerings on my website, so feel free to check it out. It's in my Insight Timer bio. And likewise, please send your energy into this deck, helping us to select a message that will serve the highest and greatest good of everybody present within this session. Bonnie, I think so too, yeah. Anik, my visualizing goes down this nonsensical pre-dream path, and I have to bring myself back and say, what was that? And sometimes those are downloads that you are not meant to understand. Something else is coming in. Elisa, love human design harmony. Elisa, there have been so many times in this reading that I wanted to bring up the human design, but I didn't want to go down a whole rabbit hole. Myra, thank you so much for your donation. Allison, thank you so much for your donation. Always greatly appreciated. Chantel, I fall asleep most of the time. Thank you for this session. Good morning, everyone. And Jackie, I could really use a card today if drawn. Well, this one was pulled for all of us. So let's see what our guides want to bring with us, what they want to leave with us before we go into our Reiki healing session. So the card today is number 40. It is Appreciation from the Divine Helpers. The keywords for this card are family, collective, society, and community. Now is an important time to contemplate your place in the world. Pay attention to your influence on others and note that you're part of a big community. Recognize your interactions with those around you and respect the fact that no matter how well you may succeed on your own, you must still depend on others in a myriad of ways for your comfort and security. You're aware of this every time you switch on a light and enjoy instant electricity, or turn on a faucet and have clean drinking water at your disposal. Your divine helpers are present to remind you to appreciate your fellow human beings and take nothing for granted. Recognize your need for others and the unspoken gifts they share with you. Move beyond your self-interests right now and participate in a common effort. Ask yourself how you might contribute to the greater good. Your divine helper's message: be responsible for your part in the great scheme of things. Remember how we started off the reading talking about generosity? Maybe if you are having a hard time feeling generous, remember all of the ways that other people help you to live the life that you live. Focus on your gratitude and appreciation for everyone that makes your life what it is, and it will allow you to give more graciously and more freely. Sometimes our trust can be broken based off of trauma or terrible situations that have happened. So when you tune into your gratitude and you tune into your appreciation, you begin to reconvince yourself that the world doesn't suck. Cindy, thank you. Chantel, beautiful card. Gratitude is turning what you have into enough. Yes, yes, yes. Laura, so true. Thank you.